We are back with another Wuthering Waves video. We are playing Wuthering Waves. And there might be something to do in Wuthering Waves this patch. Patch seems pretty decent. You know, the area looks beautiful. Chisa's kit, as I said, looks amazing. Don't really know much of what she does other than healing at the moment. But what I really want to dive into right now is they said they are changing negative statuses, or at least new negative statuses. So, you know, we're going to get a new hologram, 2 combat events. One of the events actually seems pretty interesting. A beautiful region, like a beautiful, beautiful area. Actually, 2 new quests as well. So there's definitely things to do. And this is the new Sonata set. Inflicting Havoc Bane increases the resonator's attack by 20% and grants 30% resonance abrasion damage bonus. I don't know if it seems like this is literally only going to be for Chisa. They're kind of doing this thing where they're only making Sonata sets for one character. I don't really know how I feel about it, but that's not really what I'm here to talk about. So, updated negative statuses. This is interesting because they changed it. And I haven't read this yet. I just saw they included this on the website. The thought process of negative status is not inherently bad. It's just that a lot of characters can't really utilize them. So I'm seeing here, let's just go into Havoc Bane right now. Some Havoc attacks will apply a stackable Havoc Bane effect to the target. While Havoc Bane lasts, the defense of the inflicted target is reduced. Havoc Bane stacks up to 3 times by default, with each stack reducing the target's defense by 2%. So that's already implying, similarly, the way I read it, similarly implying that that's the max stacks, but someone's outro skill could possibly bring it up more than 3 stacks. If we just see Rover be kind of that type of person to outro out increase stacks, because I actually see that here as well, that'd be a little disappointing. But I mean, we already have Havoc Rover. I don't think they're reworking Havoc Rover. So that's that. Now, another question that I'm having is I'm seeing all of this say some Havoc attacks, some Fusion attacks, some Glacio, some Electro. I wonder if they're changing it again. I don't know. We could actually look up old negative statuses real quick. But are they changing it to be where it's a bit more universal and it's not just tied to only specific characters? I'm not necessarily sure. Let's see what the verbiage was here. Certain spectro attacks inflicted. Oh no, so yeah, it was the same thing. Certain spectro attacks. What they say for arrow erosion? Let's see. Certain arrow attacks. Okay, no. So this I'm reading too deep into the words. This is probably just going to be specifically limited to new units. I thought some attacks, but no. Okay. So comparing that to the original Havoc Bane, it seems that it's very different. So the original Havoc Bane was you would accumulate stacks and it just blows up eventually. So this one is now kind of a defense shred. Now we have Fusion Burst. Some fusion attacks will apply stackable Fusion Burst effects on target. When the Fusion Burst stack is maxed, all stacks will be removed to trigger an explosion, dealing fusion damage around the target. Fusion Burst effects stack up to 10 times by default. The higher the stacks, the more damage dealt. Where, I just like they're saying by default, but the higher stacks, the more damage dealt. Obviously, I guess you would have to see how the damage multipliers work, what characters be using this and whatnot. But them kind of going down the route of here's the stacks, and the way I'm reading it seems like there's always going to be a way to increase it depending on maybe a character or a weapon. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but I mean, overall, this seems normal. Like this seems fine. Like you just stack them up and bam, it deals damage. Certain fusion attacks will inflict Okay, so Fusion Burst seems very similar to before. To be honest with you, triggers explosion. Yeah, pretty much same shit. Glacio Shave. So some Glacio attacks will apply a stackable Glacio Shave effect to the target. When Glacio Shave is inflicted, the target receives Glacio damage. Glacio Shave can stack up to 10 times by default. The higher the stacks, the more damage dealt. Each stack of Glacio reduces the target's movement speed. When Glacio Shave reaches maximum stacks, the target will be frozen and all stacks will be removed. Struggle to accelerate your recovery from frozen state. I'm pretty sure it's almost exactly the same. I guess they're just showing exactly how many stacks you can go up to with this. But Glacio Shave is what I'm personally most excited for. I doubt you'll be able to freeze bosses in like TOA or Weewa, even though Weewa just says mobs. But this is the one that I'm very interested in. The rest of like, whatever. But I do think this patch will be getting, not this patch, but in 3.0 area, we'll be getting Havoc Bane and Fusion Burst. I don't know if we're going to see these next two here. But Um, that's pretty cool, you know. Again, we have to see how these are going to function in game. Before I talk about it, we'll go to Electro Flare. So, Electro Flare. Some Electro attacks will apply a stackable Electro Flare to effect to the target. While Electro Flare lasts, it deals periodic Electro damage to the target. The target loses half of the effect stacks with each instance of damage. Electro Flare stacks up to 10 times by default. The higher stacks, the damage dealt. At maximum stacks of Electro Flare, any new stack inflicted becomes stackable Electro Rage. Electro Rage increases the damage dealt by the next Electro Flare trigger. Electro Rage is removed once triggered. Electro Rage stacks up to 10 times by default. The higher the stacks, the more damage Electro Flare deals. Okay, wait. So in this situation, seems like you have two stacks. You have Electro Flare and Electro Rage. So Flare goes up to 10 times. It says it deals periodic damage to the target, so it's a DOT, and the target loses half of the effect stacks with each instance of damage. So I don't know if you do like guys, I'm sorry, I just woke up. But the target loses half of the effect stacks with each instance of damage. Does that mean it's taking away multiple stacks of Electro Flare, or the modifier is only doing like half damage? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. That one is a little throwing me off, to be honest. But it says at maximum stacks of Electro Flare, any stack inflicted becomes Electro Rage, which increases the damage dealt by the next Electro Flare trigger. So you pretty much get up to 20 stacks. I believe this one is a bit different. Um, yeah, I mean, this one, it weakens the target's attack and increases your strength, reducing their strength. But okay, I mean that seems cool. This one seems interesting. Again, very interesting mechanic. This one probably has the most mechanical depth to it, in my opinion. More stack management. We'll have to see how these play out. I just hope that these negative statuses, we're not going to have a situation like Zany and Peep, right? Where Zany is a character that needs Spectral Rover or needs Peep. With Cartethia's damage is so high, she's self-sustained, you could just solo, right? She's able to apply stacks herself, and then if you have Arrow Rover, you could do the outro and get more stacks, right? You don't even necessarily need Shiakona. Obviously, that's the best in slot. But again, Cardi, she's just broken. So Cardi, I feel like we don't really have a good sense of like which way they're gonna go. We have one way with Zany where it's super restrictive, and one way with Cardi where it's like, I don't even need it. So I'm hoping that they find the balance here, and it's not just simply, hey, this character needs Havoc Bane stacks to function, and if you don't have the specific Havoc Bane character, you're cooked. And again, I would really love to see these, stacks get tied into older characters, whether it's older 4 stars that people have or standard units, right? As opposed to, let's say, dropping new 4 stars. I know we're getting Booling. No idea what Booling does. I really don't think they mentioned much about the kits. Um, Upgrade the units that a lot of people have already, and especially if these are going to be um, hyper specific, depending on the character's kit. I don't see a negative in kind of giving this to older units, right? So I guess we'll have to see how this goes. But I will say Glacio and Electro seem very interesting, especially Electro. Havoc Bane's kind of whatever. Fusion Burst is not bad. It's just you build up the stacks and do big damage. You have to see how much damage that big explosion does, right? And it does seem like all of these stacks can be increased more than 10. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. We'll have to see what happens. But those are my thoughts. Yeah, overall seems like a cool patch. I'll be playing Where Winds Meet tonight, and we're going to be playing a bunch of other games. So while we wait for 3.0, I'll see you boys in the next one. Mwah, I'm out this bitch.